All right. I hope you are all back at your computers, getting comfy, settling in, all that good stuff. Because it is 10:50 in the morning, which means it's time for session 2, or whatever we're calling them. Before we move into the next lecture, what questions do you have that came up during the quick break that Anthony or I can answer for you? Okay. All right, we're gonna go with, for now, no questions. But as they pop up in your head, send them our way, not a problem. Anthony and I are very used to it. So what we're going to be going over now is Toulmin's model of argument. So if you were with us in the winter, or do you, Alexandra, do you mean framework? What Anthony was talking about at the end of, okay, Anthony, I'll let you answer that one.
The easiest way to think about framework is it's how you tell the judge to decide the debate. So like I was saying at the very end, the judge can decide the winner using lots of different approaches, right? So imagine you're the judge and you've just heard some speeches from the pro about why social media helps voters decide to go and vote in their elections, which is really, really good for democracy. And then the con says, social media spreads fake news and that's bad for democracy. At the end of the debate, I might decide there is some chance that both of these things are true. So as a judge, I need some way to decide which one of them is more important. How do I pick the more important one? Do I focus on, do I think that voting is the more important value, or do I think that accurate information is the most important value, or truth is the most important value, right? Those are all framework questions. Or if you're a teacher, you can think about it this way, right? When you decide which students to call on, right? You can call on the same students who are the most excited to give their answers every time, or you can try to spread out the questions and call on lots of different students to try to get more people to talk, right? How you decide between those choices is partly about framework. Do you care about fairness? Do you care about everybody chipping in and spreading the work? Do you care about all students getting a chance to participate in the class, right? It's these, Shanna's metaphor is exactly right. It's the frame, it's like the picture frame, and then the arguments themselves are the picture that's inside the frame. So it's the skeleton in the body, and the body itself is the argument. You build the body on top of the skeleton. I think the easiest way to think about it is just in specific situations. If you don't worry about framework as a separate issue all that much, it's probably fine. It's just important to remember that it's important to give the judge instructions about how to decide the debate and tell them, like, we should win and our value is more important and our arguments are more significant because. Yeah, the framework can switch throughout the debate. So like I said, the two sides might disagree about which framework is the best. So that might be one reason you switch your framework throughout the debate. You might have multiple reasons your side of the topic is true, and those reasons might have different frameworks for why they're important. I would say by the end of the debate, it's a good idea to focus down to just one. So maybe you're saying voting is the most important. And so then you will focus on just voting in your last speech, and that will help you. But yeah, the framework does not always have to stay the same throughout the debate. So we are going to express. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you rephrase your question maybe?
Alexander, are you meaning, do you say out loud in your constructive speeches, the framework should be whatever you want? Is that what what do you mean by express? Alexander, while you're working on that, Anthony, we should go up and answer Yushan's question. So basically, framework should be the concerns of the judge at the end of deciding which teams win the debate.
Yeah, so the framework is how the judge decides the debate. The one part of your question I want to disagree with is the last little bit. So while it is the judge using framework to decide the debate, the teams should still be very concerned about framework, because it's the team's job to prove that their framework that they want the judge to use is better. How many reasons for your side would I suggest giving in the constructive speech? Yeah, 2 is a good number, for the reason I was going into earlier about giving yourself choices and giving yourself the ability to focus in on just part of your argument in later speeches. In our demonstration debate, for simplicity's sake, we will just use 1, and we will start you off with just 1 in our starter evidence set that we will provide you. But in real competitions and tournaments, 2 is a good number. Are debaters going to give speeches to make the judges think the point is more important, or the judge is going to go through the process? So debaters need to make an argument for why their arguments are more important. So if I'm saying social media helps democracy because it improves voting, I need to explain improving voting is important because it is more important than what the con is saying because, and I need to give reasons for those statements. The judge will then listen to that and make a decision based on the arguments I made about what is more important, and that will then help them decide who should win the round.
So the judges don't talk until all of the debate has finished, and then the judges will give you advice and hopefully tell you, you know, who won, so that you can improve from round 1 to round 2, and then from round 2 to round 3, and so on. But it's the debater's job to do all the speaking and comparing of the arguments. These are amazing questions. I'm so glad so quickly all of you are taking us up on Please Ask Us Questions. This makes me so happy.